My name's Philip Sheppard, and I'm a cellist and a composer. And back in 1995, I had a phone call to ask me if I wanted to come and play in a concert as part of Elvis Costello's Meltdown Festival. We knew that one of the pieces we were going to be doing was Dido's Lament, and it was going to be a singer called Buckley. I'd never heard of this man, and it didn't register with me at all. And after a bit of digging, I found out that he was a rock singer with something of an extraordinary image. It was quite a frenetic day, in as much as I was part of the composers ensemble, and we were sort of acting as a sort of backing band to quite a wide range of singers, including sort of Elvis Costello, and I think June Tabor was there. And the rehearsal went on, and this Buckley didn't show up until very close to the sound check itself, so there was no rehearsal time per se. He walked in, this sort of lanky, extraordinary sort of angel of a man, and opened up an exercise book in which he had written out the words to the Purcell. And some words were written high and some words were written low. And he started singing. He seemed to screw every ounce of meaning out of the words, and physically he looked like he was racked with pain and anguish as he was singing it. But what was coming out was beyond ethereal. His voice had this quality where it meant so much more than when I'd ever heard it before. And obviously it's one of those pieces that roots down into many different meanings. Everyone always has a personal connection because it's about burying someone that you love. But then when he sang it, it seemed to be a lament for so much more. And it really sort of went beyond what I would consider to be classical music. And to date, it's actually probably the greatest musical experience of my life, in as much as it turned my world inside out. And it suddenly made me realise I know nothing about music at all. Now, the fact that someone can have that much musicianship packed into them, and yet it not have been trained in, made me realise that actually up to that point I was a musician who played through study rather than a musician who played through feel. And now I have to say I seek out people to work with who do not necessarily read music, who have their first sense is one of ear rather than of technique. And it's actually the point at which I started being a composer rather than a player who just repeated other people's music. So for me, selfishly, it was an incredibly pivotal moment. When he was singing, you could tell that this was a man who burned harder than other people around him. There are certain people who have a sort of artistic flame and charisma around them, where other people would take 80 years to live that kind of life. He probably lived it within 30. And I think that's true. So in a weird way, when I heard that he had died, it was obviously very poignant, but you kind of think the time that he was with us was absolutely extraordinary, and it's lovely to have been part of that, albeit briefly. I think about him almost every day, which is quite strange really, because I only met him for about half an hour.